What's up, oddballs? Welcome back to the Oddity Shop, the podcast where we tell you all the creepy, odd, weird, strange, and bizarre stories from around the globe. I am one of your two curators, Zachary, sitting here with the lovely, gorgeous, amazing, 1 year, freshly older, but doesn't look a day over 21 years old, Kara.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I feel like you've been giving me some really great intros for a while, so I needed to do a gas you up one.
You need to up it. Yeah, it was recently my day of birth.
It was.
I think that was one of my favorite birthday parties.
And honestly, you and I at this party fought for the guests' attention from a Lions game that everyone thought was going to be a huge game. And I think we did good pretending that we knew what was going on with sports.
Well, actually, that's because we didn't care. We didn't even entertain. We didn't acknowledge the game.
I sat with my face looking at the game. And then at one point, you look over, you're like, are you okay? And I just hold up my phone. I'm like, yeah, I'm looking at pictures of puppies.
Yeah. No, it was fun because that was actually my birthday that day. So, and it was a Saturday. So I'm like, hello, it has to be on that. And then I invited everybody, a couple weeks prior. And then slowly as it got closer, people were like, yeah, but will the game be on? And I'm just like, I'm not that dumb, but I wanted to be like, what game?
Right. I actually was pretty much like, what game, until you all explained it to me.
Literally every single person that I got invited that day or the night before was like, well, is the game going to be on? And I'm like, oh my God, I'll have the fucking game on. I love hosting and I love having people over, but I do get a little bit anxious because I feel like I have to entertain everybody, even though I know that that's not true. And these are all just my closest friends that literally can just sit at the table and just talk to each other. But when you're having some sort of party or event or whatever, you feel you know what I mean? You want to entertain. So it's kind of nice though, because half of the people were just entertaining themselves with the game. And then some of us were just chatting and listening to music and just, drinking, smoking, doing some things. I thought it was fun. I think it was super chill. It was kind of perfect. And then the whole day before that, I literally slept in and I texted you. I said, I don't want to get up yet. You said, sleeping girl. And then we had the chillest day.
That was the day of your party.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We had the chillest day. People didn't come over till 5. You ran all my errands. Thank you so much. I love you.
Oh, I was going to go get food anyway. So I'm
yeah, but you went to Kroger twice.
So I know you so well, right? And I know and this isn't a dig, but I don't care about aesthetics of things. And I know sometimes you do. So I was tasked with getting birthday candles for a cake, and you wanted to take a really specific, really awesome picture.
This is what's funny, though, is I told myself, because I was going to go get the candles and I was going to do all the stuff, but I was just tired. I had a little bit too much to drink with you the night before. Not you didn't drink, I did. Just because you and I just hadn't seen each other in a while. So I was feeling a little yucky and I was mad at myself for it, but whatever, it doesn't matter. So I was mad that I was like, damn, I'm not going to go get these candles and pick them out. So I told myself, it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't fucking matter. So I didn't even give you any direction.
You told yourself, yes, and you didn't give me direction. I went through the Valentine's Day aisle, the card and party aisle, the baking aisle. Everyone had a different selection of candles. And I'm like, what I wanted, because it was a black cake and I know you love Beetlejuice, I wanted something with green candles.
Oh, that would be cool.
No multi-pack, no anything, had green candles. Then I'm like, okay, straight white candles. No, they only had the twisty ones. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to get those. But then I found one with off-white and gold. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get those too. But then there were sparkler candles. So I'm like, I'm going to get those too. But then this blue one might work instead of green. I think I came home with 4 or 5 packs of candles.
Yeah, it might have been 3 or 4, maybe 4.
I think it was 4.
Yeah. And I was just like, oh my God. You're like, well, I didn't know.
Literally, other than your birthday party, though, I don't have much to talk about. And can I also just talk about something else that happened at your party that had everybody dying?
Sure.
Okay. So for those of you who don't know, Kara is the tchotchke queen.
No, don't say tchotchke because
I was going to fix it because it's not just useless tchotchkes. You do find very useful.
Well, hold on, because what I'm saying is tchotchke. When you say the term tchotchke, people think of old ladies with shelves full of just little shit everywhere. That is not me.
It's little appliances, little very, very specific use items.
They're just not tchotchkes.
Okay. So she starts off though with bringing out her ring cleaner, and she's like, and honestly, you're making recommendations because you want your friends to have things that you love.
Well, this is what's funny is I've never realized I've done this ever in my life.
You've always been this way a little bit, but it wasn't to this extent. So she had everyone put their rings and glasses in the ring cleaner.
It actually started off with the ninja slushie because I was making us all slushies and everyone's like, oh my God, that is so cool. And so I'm just talking about it because I have it.
Then the acupuncture mat came out, the mopper came out, and you're giving everybody like these product demos and having them all try it and everything. And at one point I look over and me and Emily are like, when is the catalog going to come out? Like, is this a Pampered Chef thing? Is she trying? So you like, but it was so funny because it felt like one of those like multi-level marketing, like Tupperware parties, but you weren't trying to actually sell us anything.
And the funniest part is that it was all organic. It all came up organically because I was literally looking. Shauna went to grab a piece of something like a food and her ring was shining under my light. I was like, girl, oh my God, it looks so beautiful. And I was like, we got to get you one of those sonic cleaners. Cause she goes, oh, I just got it cleaned from the jeweler. I said, we got to get you a sonic cleaner. She's like, does it work well? I said, let me grab mine. And then I'm like, everybody put your rings in. I'm putting people's rings, Emily's glasses. I'm cleaning all their shit. It was like organic. Then I literally spilt the slushie on the floor. So I'm like, let me go get my steam mop. And I'm steam mopping. Everyone's like, that's so cool. And I'm like, yeah, it's great. I mean, I had already made Emily buy that. Emily already purchased that.
I can't even remember what like the last one was.
The mat, the acupuncture mat.
Because there was something at the very tail end of the night where you finally caught yourself because you're like, oh my God, I'm doing it again.
That's right. Because then I was like, I'll send everybody links of everything. I'm going to make you a spreadsheet, but you're right. I don't remember what the last one was. But anyway, now I'm like, oh my God, I'm not afraid. But this morning I was texting Zach right away last night. And I was telling him that I'm like, dang, you really need to get this walking pad because I just edited our Patreon videos and typed an episode and I walked for 2 hours. I'm like, it's amazing with the standing desk. And then I'm like, I'm not trying to sell you this. I am just suggesting. And then I sent him the link and I'm like, wow, I am crazy.
You truly missed your calling to be on QVC, I think, for sure.
Maybe I should have those parties. Okay.
I think we're way too far into this. I don't have anything else to talk about, though. What's on your mind before we open the shop?
I don't have anything else, really.
Cool.
And I don't really have a question for you. I'm sorry. But, I guess I'll ask you this.
I feel like I don't even know how to open the shop.
Okay, I do have a question.
Okay. Okay.
Do you want to know how I spent my Tuesday morning / afternoon?
How did you spend your Tuesday morning / afternoon?
Okay. I spent 2 hours trying to help my parents get YouTube TV.
Oh, no.
Okay. So I create an account with mom's email on my Mac, right? Because I'm FaceTiming this woman. Okay. And it's morning.
There is nothing worse than trying to set up electronics.
It's hard.
Remotely.
So here's the thing. They wanted to do the trial of YouTube TV because we have YouTube TV and they don't watch a lot of whatever. It doesn't matter. So I'm trying to help them. And I'm like, wait, they can't create this account. It's going to be too hard. So I'm on my Mac creating the YouTube TV account right with her email. Okay. Via FaceTime. Yeah. Okay. So then I get to the part to have them download the YouTube TV app on their TV. And the app says that it needs an update. So I'm like, okay, I'm FaceTime them. And listen, I love my mother so much, but she's warbling all around. I can barely see my stepdad and the TV. I'm like, I can't see what you're doing. Sit down. Just sit down and face the TV.
Plus, as much as Google products are great, as soon as one part starts to update, especially with the TV, for whatever reason, it freaks out.
So this is LG. Okay, so this is what happens. So the TV needs an update. The YouTube TV app on the LG needs an update. They don't have an LG account or whatever. And it's saying that it's required now to download the update to this app. Okay. So then I log in I'm on my Mac and I create her an LG account with my mom's Gmail. Cause I'm like, I'm making everything easy. I have a picture. I have all her passwords written down for every account and I have it just so I can go through and reference. Okay. So I know everything. So then I'm like, go doing it. And it says, there's already an LG account created with my mom's email. And I'm like, but I didn't do that. So who the hell did that? Because I'm like, what? So I'm like, okay. So then I do forgot password. Cause then my stepdad's like, you know what? Maybe we did when we first got this TV literally 9 years ago.
And just forget about it.
Yeah. Okay. So I do forgot password and I get that figured out. And then I go to sign in, right? You'd let me reset the password and I go to sign in and it fucking says your LG account was used for a Taiwan LG account. You need to delete the Taiwan account first.
Oh, God.
Okay. I sat there for way longer than I ever wanted to which I will tell you, this is really cool. And I'm not selling anything, But the Google Translate
Here
app,
comes the pitch.
No, the Google Translate app now, you can put the camera button on, but all you have to do is hover over. You don't have to take pictures. So I'm literally hovering over my laptop screen, still on FaceTime with my damn mom, reading this shit. Spent 30 minutes doing that. And then I'm like, you know what? It's got to be my brother. I get a hold of my brother. He's 3 hours, behind or.
Oh, I didn't even think about him. Yeah.
Oh my God. So I get a hold of him and I'm like, hey, did you use mom's LG account in Taiwan? And he's like, I have no idea why I would ever use an LG account. And I was in Taiwan in like 2016. So I don't think so, but maybe, but I can't help you. So I'm like, fuck it. So then I create mom a secondary email just so I can make a fucking new LG account. Okay. All right. Then I get the fucking LG app updated finally. Cool. Then I go on my computer and I sign up for the free trial of YouTube TV and I log in and it says, you're unable to use the free trial.
Oh my God.
I said, did you guys already try to do this? And my stepdad goes, yeah, but we couldn't get it to work. So they already wasted their free trial. So I'm like, no big deal. I have a secondary email that I now created. I didn't want to use the secondary email because that's more confusing. But then I'm like, fuck it. So I do that. And then I go all the way through and it's like tied to the same card. And it kept saying, you can't, it's already on file type deal. Like you can't have a free trial. And then I literally said, fuck it. And after 2 hours of doing this, they didn't even get their free trial. And watch them not even watch this.
No, they won't.
Okay. So anyway, then I started thinking about why someone would use like her email in Taiwan. Because I'm like, just for the LG app, but why would you do that? Like, what else would you need that for? Because my brother is like, it's not me. He's like, why would you ever use an LG app?
Yeah, you wouldn't unless you had the product for sure.
Right. Okay. So I'm like, if that's the worst that they did though, me and my brother are like, fuck it, who cares? Right. Honestly. But then it got me thinking about hacking. And then that got me thinking of the statistics of email hacking.
I literally thought you were just going on a sidebar story about your mom. I don't have a question. So I didn't realize this tied into the episode. Okay.
So according to Astra.com, 55% of phishing websites use targeted brand names to capture sensitive information. Ease, according to the F5 Labs Phishing and Fraud Report of 2020, which makes sense because you know how you always get those ads that look like the wherever you're shopping. And then once you click it, you don't notice that the website is actually different. They're good.
So I almost got one that was super well done. It looked like Apple. And it was right after that whole, you had to accept the terms and conditions for iCloud to work. It was an email saying I didn't do it. And I almost fell for it.
Yep.
And I'm usually pretty good about the phishing stuff.
But it's hard.
They're getting good.
84% of US-based organizations have stated that conducting regular security awareness training has helped reduce the rate to which employees fall for prey. And my company does this all the time. They'll send out a fake phishing email and see who opens it. And then as soon as you open it, you literally have 24 hours to complete a training about phishing.
That's so funny.
So phishing scams, scam accounts. Oh my God. Phishing scams account for nearly 22% of all data breaches that occur, which is just it's the most prevalent cybercrime in the FBI's 2021 IC3 report, which is just...
That's actually low. I
guess I could go both ways. I guess, 22% does seem low for that.
I guess, though, I don't know enough about all the other kinds of hacking to...
Yeah. In 2021, it was nearly 83% of companies experienced phishing hacks.
Yep.
And then 36% of all data breaches involved phishing, according to Verizon's 2022 report. And it was estimated that by 2022, ransomware or phishing attack will occur every 11 seconds.
One of my friends who works for quite a large corporation, I think during 2020, they got literally shut down for almost a week from a phishing ransomware scam that got into everything. It's so crazy. At 16%, phishing was the second most reason for data breaches, and the costliest, averaging $4.990 million in breach costs. And one of the most expensive phishing attacks was through compromised emails, with around 19,000 complaints having a loss of 1.8 billion. Oh my God.
Okay, so that I just, was going down this rabbit hole. So definitely easy and common to have one of your accounts hacked, especially through your email. So then it got me thinking, we have after death phone calls, we have Ouija boards, spirit boxes, and other equipment and items that we use to talk to the dead. So if we can hack into emails, then why can't the dead?
Are you saying hack the Ouija board or hack the email?
The email.
Oh.
A spirit box works by rapidly scanning through various radio frequencies, right?
Yep.
So essentially acting like a radio scanner that continuously moves between stations without stopping. And with the idea that spirits can manipulate those frequencies to create audible words or phrases,
Right, like kind of through the white noise.
And then according to the theory behind the Ovilus, spirits are thought to communicate by subtly altering environmental fields, which the device then interprets as changes and translates words into pre-programmed database. So essentially like speaking.
The Ovilus, that's the one that is like a quiet spirit box that says words. Okay.
Yeah, it just says the words. So if spirits can manipulate like through all that, like why can't they manipulate the email waves and all that shit, right?
It makes sense.
I know. So
I'm excited.
You might have heard of this one, but it has been one that has already been on my list and in my brain. But once I started going down this spiral of all this stuff, I'm like, oh my God, this kind of like correlates. Okay, so let's talk a bit about our main character.
Okay.
And his name is Jack Frois.
Okay.
Jack, according to his mother, is a sensitive, kind-hearted, and unique 32-year-old from Pennsylvania. And when we start with a description like that, we know that, unfortunately, they died.
What's up, oddballs? We've got a little surprise for you. Our first event is finally coming around. We are going to be doing a little event at the Haunted Eloise Asylum in Michigan. Kara, tell us about the details.
Okay, so the details are it is going to be April 19th, and it is going to start at 6 p.m. and go until midnight. And Zachary, what are we doing at Eloise?
We are bringing in the wonderful Lauren Haunts, where we're all going to build our own investigative equipment that we get to take home with us. And what are we doing from there?
Okay, so after the workshop that we have with Lauren and we build our equipment, we're going to actually go use our own equipment that we just built, and we're going to investigate Eloise.
So we hope you all can make it. Tickets are going to be very limited. We're holding it for 20 people max. The link is down below. And Kara, let's wrap this up.
Well, we hope to see you there, and we hope you creep a real, you little eyeballs.
Goodbye. Bye. He also lit up the room, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So in June 2011, Jack unexpectedly died from a heart arrhythmia. Oh. And according to the Cleveland Clinic, heart arrhythmia, if you didn't know, is a heart rhythm that isn't normal. Your heart may be beating too fast when you're at rest or just not beating at a regular pattern. And they range from being like serious to harmless. So some people don't even have symptoms. And it's an estimated 1.5 to 5% of people have heart arrhythmias.
Okay.
And then kind of like I said, though, because you don't have symptoms, it does make it difficult to like estimate how many people actually have it. And because I love all of you guys, I'm going to give you some symptoms so that you can be aware.
Oh, time for self-diagnosis.
Heart arrhythmia symptoms may include heart palpitations, dizziness, lightheadedness, faint episodes, shortness of breath, chest discomfort, weakness or fatigue. And for the curious, arrhythmia causes include coronary heart disease, irritable tissue in your heart, high blood pressure, changes in your heart, valve disorders, blah, 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 blah.
I love you, but I'm sorry to tell you that you would never cut it in pharmaceutical commercials. That was way too slow to rattle all that off.
Oh, God. So basically, the healing process can be heart surgery, or like I said, it might not even be serious. Okay, so he didn't know he had it. It was tragic. 32 years old. Ugh.
Too young.
I know. So again, we sadly lost him, and it's sad, but that's why we're here. Sad, depressing things. Okay, so we know that we never get over death of a loved one. We know that. But as time moves on, so do our lives, and we kind of better accept it. So 5 months after a death, I would say is still fresh.
Absolutely.
But you're probably been trying to get back into your routine and your life as best as you can, but that's still not a lot of time. So can you imagine 5 months after losing your childhood best friend, he emails you?
No.
Because that's exactly what happened to Tim Hart.
Yeah, well, I figured that's where we were going with this. All right, tell us about Tim.
Tim told the BBC one night in November, I was sitting on my couch going through my emails on my phone, and it popped up. Sender, Jack. I turned ghost white and I read it. The subject line, I'm watching.
Oh,
I just got chills.
yeah.
So then referring to the context in the email, Tim stated it was very quick and short, but to a point that only Jack and I could relate. And this is what the email said. Did you hear me? I'm at your house. Clean your fucking attic. What do you do?
Clean the attic, first of all. That is the absolute first thing I'm doing. Actually, I'm just going to make sure he's not hiding in the attic.
In the attic?
I think my head would start to play games with me. Also, this it kind of reminds me of the calls from beyond the grave that we did about the people who did the phone calls, or receiving phone calls from.
That's kind of why I said, like, if they can do all that, why couldn't, you know? So if that's not really like weird or creepy enough for you, days before Jack died, he was actually in Tim's attic. The two were discussing what needs to be done to finish it. And as it was like really dirty, unfinished attic, Jack had made comments along the lines of like dusting or sweeping it before he would even begin to help do anything.
I kind of love that though, because like that makes the message really
exactly. Mm-hmm.
It's less random, or like somebody got into the email or something like that.
It's personal, but not so personal that like it's just So as this was a private conversation, it was just with friends. Like it makes it more unlikely to be a prank, like you were just saying, or like a hacker. Like you could say that maybe Jack told somebody about his experience in his friend's attic, or that Tim said something about being in his friend's attic. But like, why would either one of them be like, oh yeah, I was up in Tim's attic today and I told him it was dusty? Or like,
it wouldn't come
Jack
up.
told me my attic was dusty. It's just such a weird thing to randomly tell anybody else for it to then be them to say it. It's just odd. So yes, there are like really cruel and fucked up people in the world, but like, why send that if you were hacking the account? It's just so pointless to me. If it was somebody hacking it, like why? What? I don't know.
It would just be kind of a pointless hack. Yeah.
Yeah. Jimmy, or Jim McGraw, Jack's cousin, grew up more as a brother to Jack, and he received a November email.
Oh, wait. Remind me, when did Tim get his email? June?
November.
Okay.
June is
he
when
passed in June.
Yeah. So this is like a little bit later in November. I think it was like a couple weeks. Or like the end of November. I think the other one's maybe the beginning. It was a couple weeks apart.
Gotcha.
And again, obviously from no one other than Jack. Subject of this one: I knew you were going to break your ankle. Tried to warn you. Got to be careful.
Oh, I'm guessing his ankle.
A week prior to Jim getting this email, he broke his ankle on his way to work, like walking outside of his house on his way to work. And then basically he said, aside from like his like family, like a few family and some of the friends, nobody knew about this accident. Like he didn't really tell anybody.
Yeah, that's wild.
If somebody that also happened to already email Tim, then was
so now you would have to know about both things if you were a hacker.
Such weird little things that, and I guess you could be like, well, if I told my mom I broke my ankle, she's probably going to tell 500 people. So that's absolutely a little bit easier to say that, like, I'm sure somebody could have found more out about his broken ankle than the attic, but still, it's something so fucking weird that I just don't know why you would fuck with somebody with that.
No, it makes no sense.
So Tim had actually replied back to his, like he emailed a follow-up, but he didn't get a response. And Jim just stated, I'd like to say Jack sent it just because I look at it as he's gone, but he's still trying to connect with me, trying to tell me to move along to feel better.
I mean, that's really cute and comforting to get from beyond the grave too. But like, I also feel kind of what you're saying where we were talking about the phone calls. Like it almost has to be easier to manipulate a keyboard or a computer than it would a phone call or some of the other messages. Like it doesn't seem like.
Are you manipulating the keyboard?
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, like for a spirit to manipulate an electronic, like to do written word rather than spoken word in their own voice, sort of deal. Like it. So argument for spirit, not somebody manipulating. Yeah.
So Patty, Jack's mother, said, I saw they made people happy. They made some upset, but I see it as people were still talking about him. And then Patty also said, was quoted saying, think what you want about it or just accept them as a gift. I think that regardless of how these emails happened, the most important thing to take away is just that sometimes there doesn't need to be an explanation for everything, primarily when it can serve to help bring comfort to you after a loss. Whatever the meaning is to take from something like this is to accept it and to move to a better place.
I agree so much with that, especially when it comes to grief. Like,
Yeah.
you can rack your brain trying to figure out if something was real or not, right? But whether in that moment it's real or not, if it brought you comfort, the feelings of comfort are real. So let it be real to you.
Yeah. And then Tim said, like, he doesn't mind, even if he found out the emails were just a prank from somebody who like hacked into his old email account.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody's joking around, I don't care because I take it whatever way I want. The mysterious emails are still unsolved because like I said, Jack's loved ones kind of just accepted it as a sign from him. There are some articles and one interview that I watched with both of them and his mom. One of them does say that there were others, but I don't think those others wanted to come forward.
Yeah.
And there was no mention of what any of those emails said.
Did they have screenshots of the ones that
Yes.
it did talk about? Okay.
Yeah. It's implied that more people got emails from him and they were just as like weird like this. But I don't know what they say. No one's like reported on them. But I was racking my brain like for other explanations as like, why was nobody else like talked to about this? Like his mom didn't get one. She was one that didn't. Like, but other than like loved ones just like checking in from beyond, like the two guys, like, I don't know. I'm just like, it's so weird to me because the two guys have mentioned, like, could have mentioned the attic, broken his ankle, and then someone pulled this prank. But like I said before, like, what was the person like purpose? Like, what would they gain?
Right.
And like, if you're pranking, this is bad, but like, if you're pranking, wouldn't you then like respond to the reply to Tim? Like, unless you're like really trying to creep him out, but you think you'd really like fuck with him a little bit.
Yeah, like you'd keep the ruse going. For me, it kind of, right, if we think about EVPs or other evidence we get from beyond the grave, it's never a full back and forth conversation. It's snippets. It's, it's when you can muster the energy. So maybe.
And then I do think that if it was a cruel prank, because if this is a prank, that is really cruel.
Oh,
that
absolutely.
You're going to email his best friends or his cousin. Like, but I was thinking, if you are that cruel to do that, wouldn't you fucking email more people or email his mother?
Yeah.
So unless you really hated just these two individuals, I don't know. I don't know.
But there was also nothing malicious. They weren't gaining anything. So like if they were trying to get information or trying to make that person upset or something, like then I could see more of the argument. But like, why would you do this as a prank without follow up?
That's why I'm just confused. I don't know. Another thought was Jack could have future scheduled these emails.
True.
But that doesn't explain how he would know that his cousin was going to break his ankle.
Yeah.
And like, why would he pre-schedule an email? It's not like he knew he was dying. And like, why emails? Because you can pre-schedule texts, which would just be so much easier to your loved ones than like, they're likely to miss an email. They're not going to miss a text.
Honestly, if I like was dying, that's the shit I would probably do is like schedule stuff out. But yeah, like you said, you can't predict the ankle injury. Like sure, that could explain the first one, but it was also a freak accident the way he died. Or not accident.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He didn't know. So it's like, yeah. And I could really see like randomly emailing you and being like, fucking clean your attic.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like even like,
oh dude, if I like had a couple months and they're like, hey, you're dying, the way I would mess with you.
All right. Well, here we go. So there's a website called deadmanswitch.net. And if you don't know, a dead man switch is a switch that is designed to be activated or deactivated if the human operator becomes incapacitated, such as through death. So this could be for like government people that are like, it could be for anything. It's just like, that's called a dead man switch. Like if I get knocked out, this switch blah, blah, blah. You get what I mean. But the website is also called that. So let me read you the gist of the website.
Okay.
Because I think you're going to like it. So this is all the website says. Why? Bad things happen. Sometimes they happen to you. If something does happen, you might wish there was something you had told the people around you. How you feel, what you regret, what you wish you had said, or maybe you just want to make sure your pets are taken care of promptly. For that, you need a dead man switch. How? This is how it works. You write a few emails and choose the recipients. These emails are stored privately until they're sent. Your Switch will email you every so often asking you to show that you are fine by clicking a link. If something were to happen, your Switch would then send the emails you wrote to the recipients you specified. Sort of an electronic will, you could say.
Oh, I am not consistent enough with checking my emails. Oh my God. I'd write like some like tell all secret stuff. And then it's just like, no, I was just camping for a weekend.
I should have asked Reddit if anyone has done a dead man switch and then didn't die. So then the next one though is when. So notifications are sent at certain intervals by email, telegram, or browser push notifications. You can set the intervals to whatever you want, from 1 day to years. By default, the Switch will notify you 30, 45, and 52 days after you last showed signs of life. If you don't respond to any of those notifications, all your messages will be sent 60 days after your last check-in.
Okay, so at least it's not like an instant thing.
Yeah, of course, you can have your Switch postpones its activation, like, if you're on vacation or whatever, by telling it to not try to contact you for a specific period of time. The service will resume normally after however many days has passed. In default examples, you don't really care, but you get it. And then basically it just says how much. It's like right now you can add one email with up to one recipient each. So, and then upgrading your account, you could do premium things.
Oh, I'm sure.
And then the last little thing is but nothing. That's it. Nothing to it. You can get started right now. Just register using the following button.
How much is it for like
I didn't
5?
I didn't look.
Okay, because that would be fun. Honestly,
no.
I would have to figure out like who my 5 mortal enemies are. I don't think I even have 5. I don't know that I have 1.
Oh, I guess if you're going to do it to people that, you can't do it to your loved ones.
Right. And just like our boy did at the beginning of this one, just I'm watching you.
So anyway, maybe Jack did have some sort of inkling of his death or, set up his very own dead man switch. Or maybe he did know he had this issue and didn't tell anybody and again, set this up. Or he was just lingering around long enough to mess with his 2 favorite loved ones one more time. We're never going to know. So I did want to end us, though, with my favorite Reddit.
I knew there was going to be some Reddit stories.
Yeah, I was able to find some additionally, like, people that had, like, this happen to them.
Yeah. I was going to say, I haven't heard about this specific gentleman, but I do feel like I have heard fairly recently somewhere, maybe another podcast or something about people. Honestly, it could have been Reddit, too, just messing around.
Okay, so this username is Ultra Havens, and the title is, I just received an email from my dead dad, and it was posted under personal encounter. My dad died 6 weeks ago. Earlier this evening, I received an email from his account. It simply said, check this out, followed by a copy-pasted headline and a link to a news article from 2 days ago pertaining to the university I went to and a topic I care about. It was it was exactly the type of article that he would have shared with me and we would have talked about. I rationally assumed that my mom must have sent it from the computer, which his email is still logged into.
That makes sense.
But she told me that she did not send it and had no knowledge of the article or news in question. She did share with me that she had an encounter about an hour before I received the email. For context, my mom lives alone in the house she shared with my dad. I live about 7 hours away. She said that she heard the garage door open and close and got scared, so she called our neighbor, who told her that she could only see the light on in the garage. But my mom checked, the light was off. She had recently had many partial dreaming experience of seeing and hearing his spirit. I've also dreamt of interacting with his spirit several times. I'm always aware that he's dead in those dreams. But this email is my favorite tangible and unexpected experience. Has anyone heard of ghosts reading the news or sending emails? Edit. Sorry.
I was actually just going to say, there's an edit with an update, right? I surf Reddit when I can't sleep. I have definitely read this one.
Okay. So there's a couple edits. Edit. I did reply to the email with a message to him. Edit 2. The link was to a legit news website. Don't worry, guys. I'm aware of phishing scams and know to be wary of strange links and messages. The email was too eerily personal in nature. Edit 3. I just checked for email spoofing thanks to, I don't know what this user is, but, and it appears, it appears by legitimately sent from his Gmail account from a local IP. I'm going back to my parents' home at the start of May for memorial gathering, so I will be able to investigate my dad's phone and computer and other things. And that's it.
That's so funny. Remember, because I told you I was just reading about this summer recently. I read that one.
Do you know why? Because this was just posted very, very recently. So if you read it. I need water. Hold on.
If you read Reddit, read it. It's easy enough to do.
But I thought that was kind of a cool one because it's crazy because it had everything that we just talked about. Like it had the email from Dad. It had like some ghosty weird feelings. And then it had like, he even put in there about the phishing emails.
Which is like exactly how it led you down it. No, the synchronicities were there. No, that's an interesting one.
So I think that's definitely his dad or her dad, whoever's, because there's no way that mom had an experience of that happening. Like Dad clearly came into the garage and walked in, went to the computer, gotta send you this link, son or daughter, whoever you are. Like, it's so cute.
Which too, right? Then you can make an argument, not make an argument. You could have the debate. Is this intelligent or residual?
I mean, not the only, but I could go both ways. The reason that I would lean more towards intelligent is because I get that the routine of it would be residual, but because it's like a new article and like a new thing, I feel like it's an intelligent, right?
I agree with you, but also like if he in the past sat down, pulled up an article and sent it to him, because the only thing that made me think residual is how you said earlier when he knew it was his dad was
or her. I don't know if it's a male
or their parent. It's the exact type of article like my dad would send me. So this isn't
that's true. So it could
out
be
of the norm. So I mean, you would never know. You could argue.
We could debate this all night, but I just thought that was a fun one. Okay, so this other one is from Prof Moxie. I don't know. Subject is
like professor.
Prof Moxie, yeah. But when I'm reading it as a username, it's all one, and I'm like, what? I got an email from a deceased friend, and then this is under the category or under the subreddit advice needed. I am really spooked. Tonight, I got an email from a friend who died 2 years ago. The email is like this, and then there's like a screenshot. The screenshot was weird though, so it didn't even make sense to me. But and he kind of made up some names and stuff. But from Jack Vaughn to me, subject. Thank you kindly. Body, for the glimmer, a skull emoji, a hammer emoji, and then a broken heart emoji. That's fucking weird. Skull, hammer, broken heart.
Yikes.
So again, for the glimmer, and then those emojis.
That's so cryptic.
For the sake of this post, we'll call him Jack Vaughn. He passed away 2 years ago. Before he died, we had a falling out and hadn't spoken in 15 plus years. It wasn't a major falling out, just a disagreement, and we drifted apart, which was easy to do as we moved across the country. Don't imagine too much drama here. We're in our late 50s, 60s. We're too old for this crap. We never exchanged emails using my current email address. We were never friends on any social media and never texted. I only found out he died through a mutual friend. The email address this email came from is something similar to preciousmusic68@gmail.com. It's not an address I know or a phrase I recognize. I Googled the Gmail address and found it was associated with a comment on a blog post from 5 years ago. Interestingly, that blog post is a picture tour of a park near where my friend lived before he died.
Oh, weird.
The front part of the email address, preciousmusic68, is associated to a Discogs account. My friend was a musician, but the name on the account is Doug something, not my friend, and there is no other info on the profile. That could be something else entirely. Odder still is this email address is glimmer.myname@gmail.com. The person that sent this email had to know the very specific word glimmer means a great deal to me and has for decades.
I was wondering.
Yeah, not the actual word, but similarly unique one. Obviously, I know my friend is dead. There was an obituary, and I read an article celebrating his life and music by some of his friends. As far as I know, this was not his email address, but I can't be sure of that fact. The emojis are freaking me out a bit. The message is oddly cryptic, like something he might have written when I knew him, poet, music type, but he could not have sent it. I would dismiss it as spam, But for the fact that the message uses such a oh my God, I'm done. Such a unique word for me, I don't think a spam generator going through random Gmail addresses is going to align the email message and emojis so specifically. What should I do? Is there any way I can learn more? Should I reply and ask who this is? Should I assume it's spam and stop freaking out?
Okay, so first of all, before you get too down on yourself for stumbling over words, I think I've only helped you with one word through this entire episode. So that's got to be like a banner one. I don't even remember now.
Okay.
But still, that
one is still really...
I think of all of them, this one is like maybe the easiest one to kind of explain away, just because it's like it's a random word that could have just, there's probably hundreds of words that if I just got it in an email, I would be able to find meaning in it. But it's still very strange.
Well, and I guess what's weird is that, so somebody in the Reddit comments though was like, well, if your email is like glimmerzachpalmer@gmail.com, the auto hack is going to think you're Glimmer. So it's going to say Glimmer or like whatever, because we've all seen that type of shit. So they were like, that is definitely a bot. Like they don't recognize what is actually a name and what's not. So it makes sense to be a bot. But the weird part, he kind of like debated in the argument or in the comments, and he wasn't going either way. He's just curious. He was just saying, I understand that, but how would this person, this Jack Vaughn, ever get my email? That's what he was so confused about, because yes, the word is so weird, but he never had this email. It was like a newer email account that this guy would never have.
I think if there wasn't the pictures of the park near his house, it would, I would write this one away easier. But yeah, there's definitely oddness to it.
And then that's why he was saying like, well, I really think it, like, I don't know if it's his actual account, but it was like the account itself, the email has something to do with music, which he was a musician. Then that one account was attached to a profile picture that was near him. Like, so it's just very weird. But this one, I think you could be the easiest one to write off as somebody just scamming you. But it is really strange and just really creepy. Like, for the Glimmer, skull, hammer, broken heart. That's so creepy.
We're going to solve this one. And we're also going to solve the calls from beyond the grave.
Okay.
How? The way we're going to solve it is not going to be soon, hopefully. And it's not going to be cute. Yes. Okay. Let's make a vow right now. Whoever dies first. So it's so
funny. I was going to ask you, what way are you going to haunt me when you die first?
All the ways. Let's be honest. Like, I'm never going to give you a moment of peace again. I'm going to poke your butthole a lot, only if it's not watery. I don't know how I'm going to know that. Maybe you get x-ray vision as a ghost. But no. Okay, whoever dies first, the first thing you have to do is try to call and text
and email
the other person. And we're going to see which one comes through first.
So here's the thing. Off the air, if you will, we'll have to give each other like a code word that we would only know as each other sending it to us.
I already know what my safe word's going to be.
Okay, I don't know what mine is, but I'll think about it.
Okay.
So out of these, like basically 3 stories, what are you leaning? Hacked? You don't know? Or
the only one I'm going to say I don't know to is number 3.
Same.
The first 2 are just so similar to other things we've talked about.
Yep.
The obviously the phantom calls, sliding kind of reminds me of it too, because like if the living have the ability to manipulate electronics around them,
that's true.
I would imagine a energy after life would also. I would be interested though. It would be kind of cool to see, like, for both those individuals, if they spent a lot of time doing the emails, because that's where my brain's stuck on. Is, to me, something like an email could be so residual if that was like part of your routine. Was like, if that dad, if his way of communicating with his son at school was to come home, open the garage, sit down and send the email.
It sounded like it kind of was like something that he would do. So, and you can visualize it. Like, it's weird because this is how I visualized it. Like, okay, so mom says that she heard the garage door. She saw the light. Okay. And like, I'm literally visualizing it. Okay. He walks in the garage. So the light goes off. He comes in, closes the door, goes to the computer, sends the email, right? She tells the neighbor that she's scared. The neighbor's like, the garage light looks like it's on, but mom goes and looks and it's probably already off because it's already been censored. Like, my garage light stays on like a minute or so after I walk out, right? that's how I figure. Like, oh, like, you know what I mean? Like, no, it's off now. Well, yeah, because he already walked through. He been in the house now emailing.
I feel like I usually give a little bit more skepticism to you.
No, because this is like an impelling.
But this one, yeah, no, this one seems pretty legit.
Compelling. I said impelling. Compelling.
Are you sure?
The first time I said impelling. But what I will say, I was scouring Reddit and the interwebs for more people that have had this happen to them. And I cannot fucking find any, which makes what makes it even more compelling to me is that it doesn't happen that often that like quote unquote dead people are emailing.
Yeah, because I think a lot of those things that we see the same story over and over again, you have to start to ask yourself, like, is this folklore? Is it being exaggerated?
Right. You know? That's what I mean. And I was trying, because I was trying to put some in here that would be like, it's definitely like, that's hacked. Right. You was hacked, bro. But it was just hard. Now, obviously, like my searches are like dead people being like sending emails from the dead. And it's literally like would pop up, be like, what do you do with somebody's email after they die? It's like, no, that's not what I'm asking you. So it was like a lot of that. I'd be like, paranormal emails, ghost emails. And then it's like, what is a ghost email? A ghost email is like, no, fuck you. So I will say it was also really hard to find the right verbiage.
Yeah.
But even Reddit didn't have too many that popped up. So I don't know. Like you said, I'm going to go with the last one. It's so fucking creepy that I want it to be real. But I could see that one being just like.
So if a ghost sends you a link, is it still called phishing?
No, because it's not a phishing link.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm setting it up for a pun here.
Oh, what?
Would it still be phishing? That's where you just say no.
I said no.
Okay, what if it was harbooing instead of harpooning?
Oh my God.
Okay, there's a reason I'm not a stand-up comedian, but I could have at least gotten a pity laugh there. Thank you.
All right, so I definitely think the first two are a little paranormally, and then the third one,
couple years oddity shoppers, and by that I mean at least 45 to 50, and we'll tell you one of us will go maybe 60 years.
Well, what am I, 36 now?
Yeah, 96 would be a good age.
Okay, yeah, because
tune in 60 years from now, and we will tell you if this is true or not. Actually, sign up for our email list and we'll email you post-death.
Oh my God, we can put all the Patreon subscribers on our Dead Man Switch.
Yes. I love that. We'll just send them all the unedited footage so you can see everything we've cut out. That is the number one perk now of being a Patreon. When we die, you get all the dirt.
But speaking of Patreon, you guys should come on over to Patreon. Marielle, actually, I don't know if you saw it today, she chatted. They've got snow where she is for like the first time in 3 years.
Oh, gross.
She sent a picture of the Oddity Shop mug in the snow. Like, I have the perfect mug to use. And I'm like, that's so cute. So, yeah, it was cute.
Yeah, I guess if you only get it once every few years, you're probably excited.
Yeah, so it was a cute picture. I should repost it somewhere.
And Kara's been forcing me to get better on camera, and I'm doing videos and stuff with her. We got new things coming in there.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun stuff coming. So if you want to join the Patreon, that would be fun. I would love to get more people in there so that the chat keeps going. You know, like we just all day can like vibe and like send good vibes and messages to each other.
Perfect.
Okay, well, that is what I have for phishing, scams, dead people emailing.
Letter emoji?
Oh, yeah. Well,
because I don't know if there's
an email.
One,
there's an envelope.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't it like the little email envelope thingy? Let's do that.
Some sort of envelope letter thing. Well, no. I love how we always start specifically and we're like, whatever emoji.
No, what you should do is skull, hammer, broken heart.
There you go.
That's what I want.
Just email us Glimmer. We'll know.
Skull, hammer, broken heart.
Perfect. Well, good job.
Thanks.
That one was definitely interesting. I can't wait to test it out.
I kind of took y'all over.
Yeah.
Gave me some medical.
And I really thought too when you were starting, I'm like,
I know.
You literally just came up with a question so you could tell me another story. Cool.
I played that off very well.
You did. Good job.
No, for those obviously that don't see us, which is everybody, Zach's face was getting so annoyed because he's thinking this intro is going so fucking long.
We're like 15 minutes in. People are tuning out. I'm tuning out.
He was starting to like look around like, okay.
I'm glad I have such a good poker
You're
face.
like grinding your teeth. Like, okay, you're like trying so hard to interrupt me. So you'd be like, Kara, shut the fuck up. Like, I'm going to have to edit all of this out.
Yeah, pretty much. Wow, you are in my head. Okay, with that, how are we closing this shop up?
Oh my God. So yes, we've decided skull, hammer,
broken heart
emoji. That's how I want you to. Glimmer is how I want you to approach me with. Sign up for our Patreon. We've got cool things coming. Thank you guys. I know we probably said in the last episode, but thank you guys so much for being cool and loving that we were replaying some old episodes all January. We really appreciate you.
But we're back and refreshed and we have so much new stuff coming.
I know. Okay, so that's really all I have for you guys. I love you so much. Creep it real. Oh no.
Try again.
I love you guys so much, but the most important thing you can do is creep it real, you oddballs.
Goodbye.
Bye.